Let's look at factorization problems. Here we have on the board 2x raised to the power 2 minus x minus 15 is equal to 0. We want to find out or understand the steps that we are going to apply in the course of solving quadratic problems using the factorization method. Step 1. Multiply the first term and the last term. That is the first term and the last term. The first term and the last term. Remember, this is the first term, this is the second term, and this is the third term. So you multiply the first term and the last term, or multiply the coefficient of the first term and the last term. So I'll be saying 2 times minus 15, that will give me minus 30. That is step 1. Multiply the coefficient of the first term and the last term, or multiply the first term, which is 2x raised to the power 2 times minus 15. Now will give you minus 30x raised to the power 2. But I'm using the coefficient of the first term alone and the last term. And our result is minus 30. That is the result. Step 2. Step 2, you have to find the factors. The factors of minus 30 that if you find their sum, it will be equal to the second term. It will equal to the second term, or the coefficient of the second term. Remember I said multiply the first term and the last term, or the coefficient of the first term and the last term. Should we are using a coefficient, we'll be having 2x times minus 15. That will give us minus 30x raised to the power 2. Please note that. So if you want to use the first term, you have this result. If you're using the coefficient of the first term, you have this result. Second step, I said find two factors of this answer or this answer, that when you multiply them you get back this answer, but if you add them up you get the coefficient of the second term, or you get back the second term. Now, two factors of minus 30 are 6 and 5. 6 and minus 5. 6 and minus 5. But if you add 6 and minus 5, your answer will be plus 1. If you multiply 6 times minus 5, your answer will be 30. But if you add 6 plus minus 5, or minus 5 plus 6, your answer will be plus 1, which is not the same as the coefficient of the second variable. If you're using the first variable standard, you'll be having 6x and minus 5x. If you multiply 6x times minus 5, you'll be having minus 30x. But if you add 6x plus minus 5x, or minus 5x plus 6x, your answer will be plus x, or just write x. And it is not the same as the second variable, which is minus x. So these two answers are actually wrong. Let's try minus 6 and 5. Minus 6x and 5x. If you multiply minus 6 and 5, you have minus 30. If you multiply minus 6x and 5x, you have minus 30x. Let's add them together. Minus 6 plus 5 will give us minus 1, which is the same as the coefficient of the second variable. Minus 6x plus 5x will give us minus x, which is the same as the second variable. So these factors are actually correct. So we'll be using minus 6x and 5x. So if you're done, if what you used was the coefficient of the first variable, you're going to arrive at minus 6 and 5x. So if you're going to replace, the third step is you're going to replace the second variable by the two factors you have arrived at, which are the correct factors. Step 3, you are going to replace or substitute the second variable with the two factors you arrived at. So if you have used the coefficient of x squared in dealing with that to arrive at minus 30, you don't write minus 6 and plus 5 alone. So you add x to them. So it is better you use this other standard, which is 2x times minus 15 that gave us minus 30x squared, and the two factors were minus 6x and plus 5x. So I'll be replacing the second variable with minus 6x plus 5x. And that will lead us to this function. That will be 2x raised to power 2 minus 6x plus 5x minus 15 is equal to 0. Remember, we have replaced the second variable with the two factors we got, minus 6x plus 5x. Now, at this step, the number 4 step is factorize now by grouping. Step 4, grouping method. Use the grouping method to factorize the problem now. Now we have 2x squared minus 6x plus 5x minus 15 is equal to 0. Grouping method is this. What I have. Grouping method. In your grouping method, in the first equation, ask yourself what is common in the first equation. Is 2 and x. 2 is a factor here, 2 is a factor here, and x is a factor. X is a factor. So 2x is common. So I'll write my 2x out, open the bracket, 2x into 2x squared, I'll be left with only x. When 2x as a factor goes into 2x raised to power 2, what is left is just x. 2x into minus 6x, my answer will be minus 3. 2 into 6 is 3, and x will cancel x, so your answer is minus 3. Now go to the next bracket, 5x and minus 15. You ask yourself, what is common between these two factors? What is common between them is 5. So bring out the 5 plus 5, open the bracket. 5 into 5x is x. 5 will cancel 5, you'll be left with x. Then plus 5 into minus 15, that will be minus 3. Plus 5 into minus 15 is minus 3, is equal to 0. Now, you will notice that the two brackets are the same. So only bring these two numbers out in a new bracket as 2x plus 5 times one of the brackets, since they are the same, times one of the bracket is equal to 0. It is at this point you now apply the a, b is equal to 0 principle, where this is a and this is b. If that is true, then we'll be having 2x plus 5 is equal to 0, and x minus 3 is equal to 0. Remember, I said in the previous class that h and t are the roots of the equation. So we're going to solve that here. 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. We'll be saying x alone is equal to minus 5 over 2. Of course, you know that 5 will be leaving to the other side, and that will become minus 5 over 2. Let me take it easily. Let me take it again easily so that you don't get confused in the course of studying. Let me just leave it for 2x alone. 2x is equal to minus 5. Then let's make x the subject. Now we'll be having minus 5 over 2 as a result. In this other case, x minus 3 is equal to 0. We'll be saying that x is equal to plus 3. So the two factors of x are minus 5 over 2 or 3. This is the factorization method. Remember, I said step 1, multiply the first variable and the last variable. Step 2, find two factors of the result you got in such a way that if you multiply them, you get the actual result you got. If you add them up, you get the second variable. After that, I said substitute the second variable with the two factors you arrived at. After that, factorize using the grouping method. And if you've done that, then apply the AB is equal to 0 principle, and you arrive at your final answer. So see you in our next other class. Thank you.